I rejected 2 other offers. One was from Google and another was from Amazon, and I still choose Facebook. It's not a failure of ours that we failed to do something and you laid off 11,000 people. So all that respect you get it, and suddenly after this layoff, everything is just shattered. We are just waiting for days and days and days to see that news will come.
Hello and welcome. I'm Sonal Mehrotra Kapoor, and with us today is somebody who is going through a lot in wake of the recent layoffs, but still wears a smile on his face at the moment and has agreed to speak with us. So far, we've been focusing repeatedly on Moneycontrol for quite some time on the layoffs that have taken place in the big tech firms in India and abroad. The most impacted of this lot are those who actually left their country to make a life abroad in these so-called big dream jobs, as they were in Google, in Meta, in places like so. And now, all of a sudden, one letter, one email, and their life has flipped forever. And perhaps many at the moment are struggling and wondering what to do next. Joining us now is Arpan. Arpan is somebody who has recently lost his job from Meta. He's also somebody who has had recently shifted to Singapore from India, from his hometown in Madhya Pradesh, and decided to make a big life decision, be there and go for that big job, but now suddenly finds himself with that letter, with that email from the company that his services are no longer required. So far, whenever we've covered these stories, the endeavor, it's just been about numbers. It's about 11,000 employees in one place, 80% of the workforce in the other. The endeavor of speaking with Arpan today is to try and understand the stories behind those numbers, the human lives which have been impacted because of this sudden, massive layoff, one that we haven't seen in quite a while. Arpan, firstly, thank you so much for speaking with us and taking us through, agreeing to speak with us at a time which must be so trying for you as well. Firstly, can I take you back to that exact moment when you received that letter and that email or whatever communication you got that your contract had been terminated, that your services are no longer required? What exactly happened then? How was that communication done? And then we'll take the conversation forward.
Yeah, so for most of the employees across the globe, the communication came on the same day on Wednesday. But for the people who were based out in APAC, for them, it came a day later. So we were not expecting it. We thought we'll get it on the same day. But later on, we got to know as we doesn't fall into the working hour zone. So maybe it will be moved to the next day. So like we were waiting today, then we got to know, no, you will get it in another 24 hours. So that full 24 hours, we were just waiting, and that to the time that they mentioned. So it was like, I was in India back then, and my timing, it was 4 a.m. So I just tried everything to stay awake till then, but somehow I slept by 2:30. And then I heard a notification. I knew that it's going to be from the Mark itself, but yeah, then everything, like I was like, okay. Then I was just trying to go back, sleep again, but nothing worked out. So that whole moment, like it was just a 6-month journey for me. Okay, convincing my parents, family, everyone that I'll be relocating there. These are the advantages, these are the things I'll be getting there. And for a person like me, coming from a very remote places, like hardly there's anyone who has reached this milestone in their career. And then suddenly you saw that email and it's done now. So everything 6 months, it will flash and yeah, everything is gone. Now again, you have to convince your family and like your partner why that job was not that great, so that they won't feel bad that you are coming back to India. Yeah, so it was quite difficult.
I see. And you are currently in India, but you still haven't broken the news to your family as we speak.
Yeah, so I came for Diwali. So the only commitment I had with my family, okay, I'll keep traveling throughout the year so that you won't feel like I left India. So I came for Diwali. So I took some time off, and when I saw this news, I was like, okay, And so yeah, I don't want to tell them because they will feel bad, maybe more stressed at this age. They're already 60, 65 and all. So maybe once I'll figure out a new job, then I'll tell them. But again, like seeing their faces every day, okay, yeah, having a conversation with them, and yeah, you have to just fake it. And that's the most painful part or the difficult part. And then again, you have to figure out something that, yeah, you have to tell them some story. No, I'm going back to Singapore because I got something. And then you have to just, yeah, take care of your relocation part and come back again, and hope so I'll have a job by that time, and then I can tell them, okay, fine, even I was fired back then.
Wow. So your family doesn't know, your friends so far don't know, and you're
Yeah.
just dealing with this whole sort of mayhem in your life all by yourself. I can only imagine what that must be like, especially when you're with them and you see them every day. Really, really tough. So, really appreciate you actually opening up to us and telling us about the whole process. I want to get to some nitty-gritties now. You did I hear you right when you said we were waiting for that email from Mark?
Yes.
So this was sometime in the works. You knew that this was going to happen. There was anticipation building up that there will be layoffs in your department as well.
Yeah, so from the very first day when I joined, so I joined in the month of June. So a month before that itself, I heard from somewhere that they have announced the hiring freeze. But still, I was like, if they are still hiring me, that means maybe they'll have some projection. And I rejected two other offers. One was from Google and another was from Amazon. And I still choose Facebook. And yeah, so I was very much confident about Meta. So, and then yeah, then again when I went there, so in last 6 months that I have worked, I never had any work to do. It was just 1 month time frame where they gave some or the other bits and pieces, but yeah, it was never full-fledged work. And the other 5 months we were just doing nothing, coming to office or just working from home, doing nothing. And they always had this projection. In the month of September, we saw another article from the Wall Street where they were saying Meta is going to reduce the cost by 10%, and mostly by reduction in staff. That time also, like for our monthly all hands with Mark, we were posting that question, what about that article, what about that article? They were saying 10% staff reduction, but every time they were just sugarcoating everything, but no direct answer where we can get a clear picture, okay, maybe this is going to happen or not. Then
Sorry,
again,
monthly chat with Mark. Is it sort of a town hall that folks
yeah,
have at Meta? How does that
yeah, it's
work?
yeah, it's a kind of town hall. So every month, Mark will come live in, yeah, US time zones. So all the employees of Meta, they just join there. So a week before or like 2 weeks before, so the person who is the host, so they will just roll out few surveys where we can send questions, and they will just choose top 5 questions out of it, and the Mark will answer those questions. So yeah, he did talk about things, but yeah, no clarity. Like if we are talking about like what that 10% staff reduction will be, so it was always like the last resort that we have, will do layoff. No, nothing much for now. Yeah, we are taking other measure. And then this was just in the month of September, and the layoffs happened in November. So in that time frame, we never saw any other communication talking about, okay, maybe this is getting serious, we have to take some other course of action. And then again, when that Wall Street article came that on Wednesday, 6 a.m. EST time zone, Meta is going to lay off. So we expected this communication to come from the company, our employer, not from any news article or something.
You are saying that you've said a couple of things so far. You joined in June of 2022. In the 6 months that you spent at Meta, there wasn't much work at all. And
No.
you were not the only one. There were several of you who joined the department. And just for the benefit of our viewers, you joined the recruitment team. Is that
Yeah.
correct? You were
Yeah.
part of the department which was hiring tech people, right?
Yes.
So you were onboarded at a time when Meta was on a so-called hiring freeze. Not just
Yes.
you, several others were also brought on board. So
Yeah.
despite the hiring freeze, people kept getting hired, even in Singapore office, but there was literally no work. That's what
Yeah.
you're telling.
Yeah, exactly. So I joined. So when I joined, I thought maybe I'm the last that who joined in, and maybe they just didn't wanted to revoke the offer. But I see like every month, one or two people they kept joining the team. So yeah, I at that time also I was pretty much confident, okay, more people coming in, okay, at least some satisfaction that yeah, things are going good. It's just a matter of like 3 months, 6 months or something.
Right. So then Meta, you were saying, has this town hall sort of a session every month where Mark Zuckerberg himself comes and addresses questions. But your direct questions about press articles talking about layoff at least 10% were not addressed directly, you're saying?
Yes,
And you got very wishy-washy answers out of that. Is that correct?
exactly.
Okay. So when was the time you understand that things were getting serious? That despite what the company was telling you, this was perhaps inevitable. When did that happen?
Yeah, so when I joined in, so I saw nothing is happening here. So at that time, I was a bit confident. So the first hiring freeze they announced 1 month before I joined in the month of May. So there was second hiring freeze also when they announced. I think it was in the month of September. That time I got to know maybe this is something serious. And that time also we didn't had much clarity. And when we asked, so some of the leaders, like not the top notch leaders, but the people at director level or the manager level, they were saying they just keep these things so confidential. So just because they don't want, a lot of leaks has been there last few months and all, so we just want to keep everything confidential because it's affecting our reputation, the stocks and everything. So they wanted to keep this top down approach where the management will decide and they will just throw it. If you are so concerned about leaks and everything, then how come the Wall Street Journal getting everything if you're just keeping it within the senior leadership? So it's not us who are leaking it, you guys, but still so much. Yeah. So when they announced the second round of hiring freeze, so I got to know maybe this time, but we never expected that because I think recruitment team is almost slashed to, I think 80% people, they're just gone. I believe. I don't have exact number to support, but yeah, every team that I see, almost if I have it, I was a part of a 15-member team, so almost I think 10 to 12 people they were fired, and not just my team. There are a lot of other teams with the same numbers, and we don't even have a clarity on what basis they fired. They just gave a statement that okay, these are the things we took into consideration: the tenure, the performance, this thing, that thing. But I know a lot of people who were just overachieving their targets, doing everything they can. People they were like 5 years, 6 years with Meta, people at lead manager, everything. Then I saw some pattern and I was like, okay, fine, check it.
When did the communication actually happen? You said that you were waiting for an email. So, and you
Yeah.
were also pretty upset that Wall Street Journal kept reporting and media reports were out there talking about layoffs, but internally within the organization, there was no communication at all. And there were
Yeah.
certain articles you mentioned which said very clearly the time and date it will happen as well. And you were actually were counting down to that.
Yes. Yeah. So the first time when we got scared is like seeing that Wall Street article where they mentioned the date, the time, and everything. So we thought maybe this time also they are just maybe some fake news or something because there was no communication internally. Then after that post from one of the senior leadership, so there was just a post saying that Mark was saying that yeah, we have to take some we have to do something, do some cost cutting and all a few months back. So this is in regards, again, not a very clear communication. They just said like a few months back Mark was saying that yeah, we have to take some measure, there are people who don't deserve to be here, so if they leave we are fine. So they're just redirecting it to the 3 months old conversation. There was no point actually. But again, you are not saying that yeah, okay, whatever the article you have seen, so maybe you can see something coming up in a week or so. No, again, you're just sugarcoating it and putting it, yeah, there, no clarity. And then whatever the time the article mentioned, so
Hmm.
exact same time we were in front of our system, though I was in a different region, I got it the next day, but my colleagues in different region, they got it exactly at the same time, not even 1 minute delayed. That means the article was right. They were the one who let us know much in advance that you are gonna get laid off, not the
Wow.
company.
Wow. So the press knew exactly at what day and what time the layoffs would be
Exactly.
announced, but there was no communication internally.
Exactly.
Wow. Wow. Okay, so you talk about, you gave a ballpark figure, and I understand if you don't have the full figures, but in your team of 15, you're saying at least 10 people have been laid off. Globally, how big is the recruitment team? And if you can give us a sense of how many people have actually lost their jobs overnight.
Yeah, so I don't have an exact number, but I believe like see, a few months back, we were having a lot of conversation about okay, we don't have roles and also what recruiters are gonna do. So at that time, I heard some leader they were saying we have a total org of around 7,000 people within recruitment.
Hmm.
And looking at the number, like I don't know each and every team, but I know more than 8 or 9 teams. If I'll go back to all those teams and see how many people are left, so hardly there will be two or three. So that means if I'll see the whole number, so I think 70 to 80% of the recruitment team is gone.
Hmm.
In Singapore itself, I think we have a bunch of compared to other regions like EMEA or NORAM, North America. So APAC is a very small team. There itself, we have more than 90 people who were laid off.
Hmm.
So definitely, the numbers are huge. I think out of all the layoffs they have done, recruitment and the business are the one who got
Are
affected.
the hardest hit.
Yeah.
Of course, if you're cutting down on operations, the first to be sacked actually are the recruitment team because you're not going to go ahead with it any further.
Yeah.
Talk to me about a little bit about your what happened next. So there was an email which has now been widely circulated that Mark wrote, admitting, apologizing, almost saying that he misread the trends. He also speaks about very clearly in that letter that the boom that IT sector saw during the pandemic, he suspected that it is going to sustain. And a lot of calls that were taken up, and it makes sense now what you're saying with having no work, but having recruited people like you and taking them to country abroad. These are expensive resources, even for a company like Meta, to be expatriating people in this manner. He did it make sense, and how was the communication done? How did you get communicated about your severance, about what happens to your insurance, about what next for people like you who have just moved continents and countries for this job?
Yeah, so a lot of my friends they reached out to me, the one who are there in Singapore who knows about this news. I never told any of my friends here in India about it. So yeah, so a lot of people they have this assumption like okay, 16 weeks severance package is a really good number. But if you are a local or if you are already staying there in the country, okay, maybe that is a decent amount for you. But for the people who came on work permit, they took the rental and everything, so that 4 months severance is nothing. Hardly you'll be left after you close your rental agreement or you'll be done with all your relocation, putting like clearing all your bills and everything. I think you will be just left with 1 month severance or something. So yeah, and that too, like post that they have given like 3 months of insurance, the medical insurance. So again, 3 months. A lot of people I saw they requested, they sent out email. More than 50, 60 people. I'm already copied on that email requesting for. Can you please extend it for 6 months? 3 months time is a really like very small time frame for people who are on work permit.
In the
Because
current climate.
yeah,
Yeah.
because a lot of companies in Singapore is a very small market. We don't get
Hmm.
jobs so easily. So people like companies sponsoring for visa and all, it's very difficult to get. So 3 months time is nothing. So
Hmm.
yeah, not at all the way. So working for a big tech companies like this, the least you can expect is like you're gonna handle situation like this.
Arpan, I want to take you back to the time when you actually got this offer. And you spoke about it a little bit earlier when you said that your parents thought you had to first convince them about relocation. You had to tell them how Singapore and expatriation, you end up earning so much more. The lifestyle is so much better. That's what attracts so many Indians to take up these jobs abroad. And Indian talent, of course, is wanted everywhere. But can you take me back to some of those things and perhaps looking at
Yeah.
now how things have transpired?
Yeah, so it was not at all an easy choice. So as I said, like I'm from a very remote area. I don't have a very good internet connection as well here. It's so remote. My like schooling, everything done from here. So my family, when I told them about, oh, I got an offer from Facebook, so they were super happy. So I never told them about Singapore first. So I was like, I got an offer. So they were super excited. My partner was super excited. No matter what you have to do for this, you just take that opportunity. We'll do something. There we decided, okay, fine, I'll keep traveling. You just work here. But yeah, don't say no to this opportunity. And yeah, even so, all these days, whenever you are talking to your friends, family, they treat you with respect that you work for that company. Oh, someone from that village or that remote town, he reached that height, he went there, yeah, first person in the family who went abroad for a job, everything. So all that respect you get, and suddenly after this layoff, everything is just shattered. You can't even share it with them, because they were the one who were talking about you so proudly and all, and what should I say them? It was just for 6 months. So yeah, not, and that too, the other part is like, if you never had this thing, if you had that projection and all, because it was already hiring freeze when I joined, I already had an offer from two other companies, Google, Amazon. I have the offer
Hmm.
letter, I can show it to people. But yeah, I made that choice. Who knows, maybe I would have stayed with Google and I still had my job. So yeah, it was a, yeah. And you getting laid off here in India, that's fine. You have your family, you don't have to pay your rent bill, nothing. But
Hmm.
back there, you are the only one taking care of yourself. You don't know people. 6 month time is too short to build your connection to everything. And then suddenly you are saying, no, you have to go back.
Arpan, I must say, being able to talk to us about all of this with a smile on your face shows the courage that you have. So, I mean, terrible and so sorry for everything that has happened so far, and good luck with what you're going to do next. But, you were talking about rentals in Singapore. From what I know, staying there is a very costly affair. uh,
Yeah. So
Lodging in
rentals.
Singapore, food might be much cheaper, but rentals are quite high. How are people managing that? And is at this point, you of course said that the severance basically doesn't really cover much of it, and especially for those who've relocated with their full families, left their jobs, not just their spouses, also taken their entire family, traveled there, and now all of a sudden life has changed.
Yeah, so I'll just give you a quick idea about myself. So I was just staying there alone. I know people who have their kids, their school fees, their expenses, everything, full family. Just talking about myself. So 1/3 of my salary goes for the rental. I've rented a small house, and so yeah, 1/3 of it. Now without a job and finding another job in 2 or 3 months, it's like almost 1.5 month of severance that you're giving. It will go for the rent, and it's super expensive. Like not just the rental part, even the not very like food and everything, other things. I'm a vegetarian. Okay, then again, like for vegetarian food, again very difficult to get. So yeah, not just the boarding and everything, the severance is like, I can say for expats or the people who relocate, it's nothing. Rentals are super expensive for a very small house. I know colleagues who has kids or their partner, they relocated with family, they have rented a bigger space, which is like almost like half of their monthly salary.
Hmm.
How can you survive there for 2 months also without the salary? You are saying, oh, 16 month severance, it looks very fancy. Oh, 4 month salary. Without a job, two or three people surviving on that same salary, it's very difficult.
Hmm.
And another thing, like, okay, fine, you did this thing, okay, company was not doing great. It's been 3 or 4 days. I'm sending an email to those people because I have a lot of questions to ask them. That can I speak to my HR business partner who can tell me about the basics and the problem I have? Maybe anyway, Meta can help me. I'm getting an email response saying that please try writing it through email. I hope we can solve it here. No, I'm asking for a human touch. I want someone to get into a call, tell me, Arpan, okay, fine, this is something we are not expecting. Fine, we'll help you out with this, that, nothing.
Right, but in the letter it said that there is a relocation and sort of that Meta will provide a system to help those in need get a job. Is that happening?
See, they have just outsourced it to a different company who is a
Hmm.
recruitment partner for a lot of companies across the globe. So we have to just go and register there. But again, they are also relying on their customers, like their companies, the client they work for. And
Hmm.
again, same thing comes for visa sponsorship. A lot of 90-95% of the companies, they are just saying no. In last 2 or 3 days, I've applied for like more than 50-60 positions in Singapore.
Hmm.
Everyone, they are saying we don't have a visa quota, we can't sponsor, sorry. So that is where it's getting difficult.
Wow. So what next for you, Arpan? What are you going to do?
I'm just trying everything. So we like I have a lot of dependencies and a lot of things to manage. So I can't just rely on the Singapore stuff. So whatever the time we got, so soon they are gonna cancel our employment pass and give us an extension of 30 or 60 days to find a job. So that time I'll utilize to apply in India and Singapore as well. And if I'll get something in Singapore, that's good, or else I'll just come back to India. The problem is like Singapore, before moving out of Singapore, we have to clear a lot of bills. The rental that I took was for like 12 months or 14 months, and now almost like we stayed there for 4 months. So the remaining also we have to clear it out. We don't know about the rules and regulation of
Because you
that
have a
country.
lease. Because you
Yeah,
have a
we have.
lease.
Yeah, and the problem is we are expats there, right? We don't know about the rules and regulation, whether if you don't have a job, whether you have to pay this or not. That support also we are not getting. So fancy they have put it over there that we are providing immigration support. Seriously, you are providing, is this the immigration support? And I saw another email a few days back where they are saying the people who relocated in 2 months back, so when we relocate they give some relocation bonus as well, so that we can manage those expenses. For the people who just relocated 1 or 2 months back, they've sent an email saying that you won't get any of those relocation amount now.
Hmm.
That was also surprising. They already relocated there. That amount was
Hmm.
allocated for relocation. Even if they just go there for one day, how can you say that, yeah, you can't provide that now?
Hmm. Hmm. No, it must be so much more tough for, like you said, for everybody, especially who have been expatriated, and we've been trying to reach out to more and more people. Uh, how is it with the policy at the moment, and how positive are you at the moment? Firstly, Arpan, on finding a job in India, the job market is not very conducive, even from an India standard at the moment.
Yeah,
You come from a recruiting background yourself. You know the situation better than we do. How positive are you? What are you going to look at next?
yeah. So if you look at the India market, so we still have a lot of roles, but the problem is you have to compromise. So when 6 months back I relocated from India to Singapore, so the last Indian salary that I was drawing, now I'm applying to a lot of companies, some very top notch names, okay, but they're not even ready to pay close to that salary. So it's like again taking a pay cut, joining those companies, but the dependencies we have, it's still the same.
Hmm.
So it's very difficult. Not just the salary part, you have to compromise on the role that you were working, the visibility, everything. Like it's not easy to just, okay, fine, you get fired there, now come back to India, take this job, start. No, first compromise, then only. And nobody is aware like what was their model when they fired people. So when you take those interviews, the very first thought the interviewer will have, okay, he was laid off, maybe he's jobless, maybe we can convince him on this salary and all. So that is also very common. So the first pain is
Yeah.
getting laid off, second pain is compromising on your career, professional career, everything, and just going with that. So that's difficult.
I'm sure. I'm sure it is. Arpan, we're going to wrap it up over there. Thank you so much for being so brave, for still wearing that smile, and good luck with finding a job. Good luck with everything that you will do next, and especially uh, dealing with family. It's not going to be easy. Managing yourself and managing your family there as well. In the end, if Mark Zuckerberg was hearing this right now, if you could tell him something really to highlight the issue and plight of not just you, but so many people like you, what would you say?
I already sent an email, a my goodbye email to the leadership and Mark, copying everything, sharing my story starting from the day when I joined and why I joined Meta, and my own personal issues and everything. And the response that I got was like, okay, I'm so sorry to hear this thing and all. Happy to know about your story. Okay, yeah, you please, all the best for your future. We'll cheer for you, whatever you do. That's all. And but yeah, the only advice I can give it to the leadership. Okay, when we join companies like big techs like Meta or any other company, Amazon, Facebook, Amazon, Google, the only expectation we have is like, we'll have a clarity. This is a company which values employee. They're not just IT companies. Okay, they take care of their employees really well. If you are gonna set these examples, so definitely nobody will want to work for these companies. And I have a lot of people already, it's already trending, never work for big techs. So yeah.
Like, seriously, that's the sentiment. Nobody wants to work for big tech companies anymore.
Yeah, a lot of Google News they saw, then Twitter they saw, now Amazon is trending, Facebook already did. So yeah, I think it's, I'm not sure about the other companies, but for Facebook, it's gonna really tough to hire talents now. We are the recruiter, we know what all the conversation we had with the candidates while asking them to join us. It's gonna be very difficult now.
All right, then, Arpan, we leave it there. Thank you so much. And
Yeah,
what we
the
can
only
do right
last
now is add to your story. All,
yeah the
all
only
is there in our
la-
hand at the moment is to, yeah, please say.
Yeah, the only last line I would say about what exactly happened, the human resource team was fired without a human touch. That's all.
Yeah. No human touch and big dreams that people have of working, of expatriating, of working for these big tech companies. You're right. That overall has been shattered, and how. And sort of getting up from here is going to be a long road ahead, especially in the current climate. Thank you so much. Well, what we can do at the moment is just offer you good luck as well. And on our part, all we can do is at the moment let your story come out, let your story be
Yeah,
spoken about, so that somebody somewhere sitting can understand what exactly is happening, and somebody perhaps will have that human touch that you're so craving at the moment.
yeah.
Thank you so much for speaking with us.
Thank you so much, Sonal. Thank you so much.